Okay, I'm going to call to order the February 24th, 2026 work session for the city of Tenino. Just so everybody knows, our regular video system is kaput. We're trying to work on getting that back in service. So we are recording this on Teams meeting, and we will try to get that posted to our website. But we are recording this, and I'll just read this now. I'll read it again during the general meeting. We're advised to read this. The Tenino City Council meeting is being digitally audio recorded and may be broadcast or posted on the municipality's website. Participants and attendees speaking at the podium or remotely are advised that their voice and comments are part of the public record and is subject to public disclosure under RCW 9.73.030. So I'll read that again during the regular meeting. So work session. Let's see. Just go over things on the agenda. We can have some conversation on that. Nancy mentioned it briefly, but if you look at the financial report for this month on the very last page, it gives a summary on the expenditures and what fund they came from. So instead of just getting a total dollar amount of money that's spent, it's broken up by general fund. So we should be able to see that from now on. We'll try to include that in it. Makes it a little easier to see where the money's actually coming from that we're spending. So that's just an update. New business, keep working. Washington working policy. I don't know if the chief will be here tonight or not. As part of the grant process through the state, there's several policies that we have to have in place, and one of them is this keep Washington working policy. I read through it, but it's a lot of legalese. If you went through it, I don't know, Adam, if you've had much exposure to that and can add anything, but I think it's really mostly around integration and what our police, how our police force interacts with ICE and those kind of things. But if you look, it's pretty thick policy, but we are required to adopt that. That's part of it to apply for this grant. So I wish I was more of an expert on it. When he shows up for the meeting, he can explain more. He's not. He's not
I agree with that. And my take on it is it's pretty much protecting the rank and file field from having to deal with the federal agents that send everything back to the police chief or other. So she doesn't have to make those decisions and leave that to the state to deal with federal government and citizens responsible.
So I can't remember if we wanted to approve that tonight. If people have more questions, we'll have to get some more information to them.
My take on.
I wish I had the details, but yeah, go ahead.
I apologize. This is obviously a template that we would give, and it's been mostly filled out with police department and BCG. The back part is still agency infractions and whatnot. So I think before we actually have it in front of us approved, we would fill that out as final form that presented to us.
Sounds good. Is there any questions on that one? We can, if anything comes up.
I hope the chief comes tonight so that
He won't be here, he said.
he won't.
We can, if we have more questions, you can email it to me and I'll give them to the chief and see if we can get a response, or I can reach out to somebody else and get a response, for anybody that has any questions on it. If you call ABC or somebody to get.
I thought it was going to be.
I didn't know. He said originally he was going to be, but he's not.
Okay.
Right, it looked like he was required to be here for that, but if it is just a quick look at it, we're not doing the final form, then we could like.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be good if we could do the final tonight because we need to get this grant going.
Since we're kind of on the subject, I received an email today from somebody at the state kind of talking about the grant. There's only 6 organizations that have applied for it at this point. There's been a bit of confusion about some of the requirements, and one thing I remember I mentioned this last meeting. I went to the mayor's forum for the AWC, and it was mentioned there about if you if you don't have all the training done and you pass this 1% tax, say you don't get it done in the future, they can fine you up to $100,000 for not doing it. So we just want to make sure if there's any training that isn't done, we got to make sure we get that done, because that would be a major oops if we don't. So I think a lot of people, a lot of the bigger cities especially, are concerned a little bit about that training and making sure all their officers have that. And so it's kind of slowed down the applications for this a little bit. But anyway, that's just a little update on the whole program. So yeah, send me questions if you have any. Resolution to be discussed or worked on. This is something Linda's brought forward, so I'll let her speak and then we'll,
Well, I gave everybody a copy of the resolution. And I think it just speaks for itself. I think we need to work on it. I don't think it's something that we need to necessarily pass tonight, but I want the members of the council, I want us to be more aware and more hands-on when it comes to anything that's going on in the city, whether it's in the city or administration or anything. I think the council needs to be more hands-on, and that's why I put this together. So you guys just read it, see what you think. If you've got any suggestions, we'll take it at the next meeting. I would think. What do you think, Dave?
If people want to speak on it, I'm willing to have a good discussion. If you're saying you want to start now, and yeah.
Sure.
Anybody want to speak, have any questions or want to make comments about anything on here at this point?
I'll speak. First of all, this is for next year, guys. This does not apply to this year's budget.
It applies to from now on as soon as it's passed.
It's for the proposed 2027.
Well, I can change the date on that.
Okay, so I'm just giving you feedback here. And look through this, it's very specific to the police department rather than the entire city, public works, city hall. It's all about the mayor's interaction with the police department.
Actually, it isn't, if you read it, it has to do with any spending at all by the city. I know now you do, but not everything that is spent is run by the council before it's spent, so.
I'll let you read it, but going through it, is this what we had on our agenda? Just right now?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought we wanted to hear some numbers of pages. Okay. Well, if I need to reread it again, Councilor, I will do that and be prepared next week.
Yeah, look the same to me.
Okay, I will. I don't know if I should read these during public comment time or because this is an email that the business person sent. This was an email that Chief Auditor got. That was, I got a copy of it to read on something that happened here in the city. Should I read it now?
Sure, since we're on the subject,
Okay, this person spoke to Chief Auditor on the 28th concerning a disturbance at my house that morning. He recommended that I come to this was sent on February 9th. He recommended that I attend tomorrow's city council meeting. The following is what I plan to present to the council. If you would like me to change it, please let me know. Thanks. Good evening, council. My name is Tom Peak. My partner Krista and I bought our forever home here in Tenino last April. We picked Tenino specifically for the sense of community and the security of this small town. One of our primary reasons for choosing this home to grow old in is its proximity to our local emergency services. We felt safe. 2 weeks ago, that safety was put to the test. At 4 a.m., I was woken by a man 40 years younger and 40 pounds heavier than myself, trying to force his way through my front door. Even though I live just blocks from the station, I discovered the hard way that our local PD is only staffed from 6 a.m. to midnight. Because of that gap in local coverage, I had to manage a hostile intruder on my property for over 20 minutes while waiting for a response from the county. While the 4 sheriffs, now they said 4 sheriffs, who eventually, you're right, were professional, 20 minutes in a lifetime, and your front door is being kicked in. Is a lifetime when the front door is being kicked in. I'm not here to complain about the officers we have. I'm here to point out that they aren't being given the hours they need to protect us. The city decides that Tenino shouldn't have to rely solely on the county after midnight. I urge council to look into funding an overnight patrol so that small town safety is a 24-hour reality for us all. Thank you. Thanks again, Tom Peake. Not that we can do that, but that was just.
I saw that too.
Okay. This is a email from Dave Champagne, Castle Realty. To our elected officials, so I so wish I could be there tonight to hear all the discussion on this issue, but I'm hosting Castle Realty annual business mixer, and helping local business is a priority for us. If there's anything else I would cancel to be there. I speak for my family, friends, and neighbors, and many business associations tonight who I have talked to on this subject. Food, water, shelter, and safety. These are the non-negotiable priorities in our lives in that order. When crimes are being committed, where life and health are being threatened, every minute counts. Ask any victim of a violent crime, they will each tell you each minute is an eternity. Any mother spotting an intruder has precious minutes to get help. Budgets are complicated and there seems to be no end to the things our town wants and needs, but the priority should be clear. We do not support any changes to our current law enforcement if it adds even 5 minutes to the response time. We are passionate and resolved on this point and oppose any measures that threaten them. We are grateful for the work of our elected officials, and we are very appreciative of our local law enforcement officers. We just want to be clear. Dave Champagne, local business owner, resident.
Okay, any other questions on this resolution or? Okay, we'll bring that back.
Well, I was gonna ask a quick question. Is there a way to break out maybe into two separate resolutions? Things about the budget and city administration, and anything involving the police department, so that those can be two separate debates here. Because I think both should be considered.
Okay.
But I think they need to be considered separately. And then the points under each of those individually debate, if that makes sense.
I can do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, Voyager for vendor for fuel cards. This one I think is when we get the bill for Voyager cards. Yeah, I'll let that. She's more articulate than I am about this.
So, Voyager is our fleet card where, all of our vehicles are fueled, through that system. And, we won't get bill until the current statement until tomorrow, but it will be due before the following, meeting, council meeting, sorry. So, we would like permission to pay the Voyager bill in between council meetings up to $2,500, which it's usually not, it's usually closer to $2,800. And then call in, three, is it, we have to have, 3 council members to sign in the interim, between, this meeting and the next meeting, so that we can pay the bill in a timely manner, avoid late charges or anything. So that's what we're asking for.
Approve that payment in between. Any questions on that one? I think this has been ongoing for some time. We've just never really dealt with it, so I'm trying to clean up some more of those things like that. The last one is we talked about last time the Waterworth contract. That will be enforced. We've got everything in place. We met with them about what was it, a week ago or so. We met with Waterworth and got the information that they need to start inputting information into our system. So that's just approval of that contract, and it's kind of critical because we need to update that thing to make sure we're charging appropriately and those things. Any questions on that one?
by chance, I have your invoice in hand right here. It looks like we've already written a check for $11,000. We haven't approved this yet.
We'll approve it tonight. We haven't sent it, we gotta get the check, so if it wasn't approved tonight, we wouldn't send it out, but it's been printed. But it's in.
So when we talked about, how AI is changing data analytics at all, is this software still going to be valid a year from now?
We're not buying software. It's it's a cloud-based, it's kind of like our financial system. It's all cloud-based and, they go ahead and want to talk about it, Nancy.
Yeah, the real-time subscription is not a moment in time, like the rate study that was done several years ago. So this is, we can go on at any time and see current numbers. They'll advise us whether rate increases are needed or when we can, how long we can put them off. What it would be if it waited 5 years or 10 years. That sort of thing, but it's not just, our previous rate study, which we paid approximately $38,000 for, was 1 moment at a time, and it did have inaccurate information, and we weren't able to update the information as time went on. With this subscription, it's $11,000 per year, so it'll take 3 years to pay the same amount we paid for the previous one. We can update the input at any time.
And it's the same amount the guy came in.
Yes, that the guy can talk to him about, yeah. So it's always perfect.
So what's our goal here, to have on-demand pricing changes like phones, or are we looking at this once a year to reevaluate what's going on?
Well, it's not so much, I don't think, it's not on-demand pricing change, it's more on-demand, being able to make adjustments to the system and understand what that means for our future. Like when he showed, like in our current rate study that's on paper, there's charges, I mean, there's estimated $2 million for septic receiving and $3 million for sewer connections for a big development that never happened. So we have this rate study that says, okay, here's 10-year plan, what you're gonna do with your, assuming these things stay the same. With this, if we say we're expecting a big development and then find out it doesn't happen, we can go back in, put the new numbers in and have it immediately tell us what your projections look like for your rates.
I understand, and I guess just to rephrase my question, how is this going to affect ratepayers? Are we changing, looking at this annually, just when we have a big event like the new development?
No, you can look at it every day.
I understand, but when are we actually evaluating the change rates that our subscribers are using?
So when we talked about this part, one of the pieces of this is to do a cost of service analysis, I think they call it. So since we haven't done one for some time, we will look at the rates and make sure the way we're doing it, make sure we all agree on a rate plan that is fair for everybody. You can mess with the numbers and, charge lots of ways. Right now, we just charge a flat fee per ERU. I mean, some communities go based on water usage, so you can look at a multitude of things and decide how you want to base it. Now, you probably wouldn't do that every year. I think they recommend doing it every 3 years. But we're doing it this time because we haven't done it for some time, and we need to reevaluate that as part of this all overall update. So like next year, just like I said, we're not going to do that cost of service analysis, so we'll be able to drop that. That's one of the pieces of this. We'll be able to drop that next year until we feel like we need to do another analysis of those rates.
Thanks for the question. Yeah, on that. If maybe this is a clarifying question to maybe follow up. So are you asking if there's a policy in place that says, we will reevaluate, or you're hoping to see a policy in place that says we will only reevaluate charges for the water system and sewer system every 12 months, or every 24 months?
That's actually a good question. This is new. We're reevaluating the rates of what can our customers accept going forward from this point on. And maybe it's too early for that. We haven't seen it yet, we don't know what the numbers are gonna be, but, just keep in mind, people are gonna be sensitive to.
I understand that. One of the things I explained to him that happened some time ago, we didn't get any rate increases for some time, and then we got in a spot where we had to do like a 12% rate increase all at once.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to avoid. I mean, if we have to do a rate, we don't want to have to do any rate increase, but if we're going to have to do a rate increases, we don't want to just sit on it and then all of a sudden have to, people expect a 12% rate increase. So that's the value of it. To me, it's part of the value of the system. We can constantly update things, be current on our revenues, our expenses at the wastewater treatment plant, and make sure we don't get to the spot where we have to do a huge increase because we're evaluating that on a constant basis.
All right, well, thank you, that answers my question.
Anything else on that one? I think those are all the things that are scheduled for tonight. We want to go through the reports. Chamber of Commerce, I got George's up. I have got it here. Okay. With that. Sorry, I left my phone in my car. It's basically just updating on when the study meeting was, when Chamber of Commerce, there was nothing on there that's outside the normal meeting times and where they're going to be. So I can send an update to the council if you want to know when those are, but sorry about that, I forgot. Didn't think about anything. EDC is the same thing. I did speak at the study meeting, just since it's on the list, the last study, it was the, forget it. My mind's all over the place right now. There wasn't a study. It was the chamber meeting. Arts Commission, anything there? VVC, the Experience Olympia and Beyond, we did get a email from them today with a list of the stuff that they were going to include in the brochure. Jessica and I made a couple comments of things that could be added, and I think George did too. One of the ones was that wasn't in there was the questioning facility out there. I've heard from people that that's one of the largest draws that brings people into town here, so I thought that should be mentioned in there. So I made a comment on that, and George made some comments also. So we made a comment to library. I don't know if they're going to be here. I can just tell you that they're in a bad spot financially. Also, they're looking at, I think it's $8 million or something, that they all of a sudden realized they had a deficit. So just talking to people, I think they're talking about possibly around 30 plus people that they may lay off in the library system, which is a big deal. From what I understand, there is going to be public comment, and I don't have a date on that, but you can look at the meetings if anybody wants to make public comment on those layoffs. You can do that. The committee, Civil Service Commission, we haven't did anything. Finance Committee, we had a meeting. There's nothing really to report. Do you have anything, Elaine, or I don't know what report? It's just going over more of our budget situation, kind of the same as we've been talking about. Planning Commission, they did meet. I understand they interviewed the people that applied for the Planning Commission, but didn't give any recommendations for tonight. So hopefully next meeting they'll give us some recommendations on who they want to pick to fill that. And we didn't vote on the person that they. What else? Planning Commission. I'm trying to think there's something else. No, can't think about anything. Public Safety Committee.
We had a meeting. Ed and I, the two of us, maybe had a meeting with Chief scheduled for Monday, but unfortunately he had more important other things. Don't go so we have not had that yet. We rescheduled for Thursday. Thursday. So we'll have a report for you next public meeting.
Public Works.
Public Works, I talked to Troy today, not a whole lot going on besides basic maintenance of the city and whatnot. He did say that the work on the baseball field is 90% complete. It's very close. They have one more session grading to do, and they're waiting for a little bit of dry weather before they can do that. Two things they have yet to do is fence, backstop, and then perimeter fencing, and I think we had that better. Here, City Hall, so that's well underway. And I guess I'm gonna pave around the area, and I don't know the details of that, because that's just, I don't, but that still needs to be done as well before it's ready, but he expects it to be ready, in time for the release season.
I know that somebody called about the fencing, because we went up to bid for the fencing, and they were inquiring about that, and we're waiting for one more reply that I expected to get today or tomorrow, so we'll make, be more than that soon to get that fencing work done. I will mention also that we had a complaint about which stores, which one is it over there that had all the potholes?
Gas station.
Yeah, the gas station over by the vet's office.
Yeah,
Sure. Yes, they did do some work over there, trying
Well,
to make it so that.
it was the front end of my car. Can't go around the way over.
Yeah.
It's just, it's just a band-aid, and it's just not gonna stay.
They need to
Block. They need to block.
Yeah, because or something.
It's really bad.
That's who I drove by last day, I could probably see where it's going. Just to add on to that, though, something that's related to public works is, we're gonna get a small grant, like $360,000, I think, with Paul Forrester from, I can't, not keep, TRC.
Oh,
Yes. One of the grants they have is just a small, they instituted a small cities grant, so I think it's more small cities and tribe eligible for it, and this is kind of broken up between the jurisdictions, so we do have a meeting with Paul Brewster about that, and the ideas of where we can use that money for. I think it's around $300,000, and talking to Troy today, we were talking about things like that, and fixing some of our sidewalks that needs to be fixed if that's allowed. So we're going to be meeting with Paul Brewster about that, exactly what it can be used for, so we'll let you know when we get the details on that one, but that could help us fix some of these problems that need a little more work than just patching, yeah.
well, because that one needs to complete.
Yeah, it needs to be dug out.
And we do the whole thing.
On that subject, I remember us talking about that very spot, constantly needs some work. We kicked around the idea of having property owners be responsible for making their own repairs right away on their properties. And I don't think we went any farther with that. If we're looking ahead to have cuts to public works, that might be something we would want to reconsider.
Well,
I think that was one of my, it wasn't another.
I was thinking, as far as sidewalks goes, it seems to me, I read somewhere, I don't know if it was state or local ordinance that we have, that could be a two-way thing, the city pays for it, or the homeowner, the property owner, that just their property line pays for the section of sidewalk. Now, I don't know.
Yeah, I know that happens in other cities.
So maybe it's state, but I knew I read it somewhere, but there's a couple of them that you're gonna have to have a tree down and take the roots and everything out, and that'll be up to the property owner. They're not gonna be happy about it, I'm sure.
Anyway, we'll bring it back to you next meeting to let you know what that is and what it can be used for, and we can talk more about it. Chief of Police, Public Works Troy's daughter is about ready to have a baby. Like any time today, he was maybe gone, so Building inspector, I don't think there's anything new, much going on there. Maria, do you want to say anything, or if you need to, I guess you don't need to speak into the mic, because
No, I'm pretty loud, but, yeah, no, the building department, we're still closing up permits from 2025. One new house in town off of Garfield Street that's just about ready for occupancy, that we have a new residential single family that's close to occupancy for that. Some other commercial properties that are upgrading in the works. That's that.
park specialist, Jessica was going on vacation, she just came back today, so I don't think there's a lot on that one. I will give her a shout out, she, with our curb loan, it's one of the loans we used out at the ag park. When you do those, they hold back so much money until you get everything, all the reports in and wrapped up. She worked on that, got all that information through them, that loan is now closed out, and we got $150,000. That's been held back, and that goes into our, capital fund, capital improvement fund, so that really helps that fund, get that money put back there, so shout out to her, she does an amazing job with helping us keep up on our grants and reporting and those kind of things, so. If you see her, give her a shout out for that one. Treasurer, Nancy?
I don't have a lot. I printed out the budget position as of yesterday, so if there's any questions on that, I'm open to answering those. A few things that are coming up, we will need to process a budget amendment. I'm thinking in March we'll be able to update the budget, some of the changes that have come in, lowering the budget for audit because we're not getting audited. We won't have an audit this year, that sort of thing. And then some moving around the budget. So that'll be coming up in the next couple of months. I will be bringing up an ordinance again, probably a month or two, to abolish we had an investigative fund of $3,000, and that's taking cash, and that cash has not been located some years. And so SAO did an investigation, and of course, there was not a final determination where it went. So, and it's been determined that we don't need that fund. And so we will be abolishing that, along with the change for municipal court, because that's on the Thurston County. So those are just some things that are coming up. So if you have any questions on them, you can email me or call me, or if you have questions immediately, you can let me know right now. I think that's all I have, unless anyone has any questions. This time, no.
For my report, but I will tell you, just working again on the budget and how we're going to figure ourselves out of this hole in. I did meet with one of the candidates, the Thurston County assessor. She came down, just wanted to see her. She's been here, obviously knows a bit about our county, but wanted to be shown, kind of show the city and talk to her a little bit about the issues we're facing. And she told me about a lot of her experience. So did meet with her. I don't know if she has any opposition right now, but she may actually take. So anyway, took her around town, showed her things. Some going to Waterworks, had a meeting with them about, I already told you about. Property. I've got the list. I've got kind of 4 properties that are, I've looked at all the properties and kind of did the 4 biggest ones I could see, and they're just so. A couple of blank lots, one down there, one
on Green Street.
Green Street's one of them. The food warehouse, I did pull that up, and I called the guy that had done the previous ones, and he's willing to redo those so we can get those going. It will cost us $300, so I'm going to bring this forward. I don't want to spend a bunch of money here. We're not going to agree, but you can tell me personally after the, or during the reading if you want to. there's kind of four big ones that are bigger, just vacant lots that are, have some value. So I thought maybe we could start with those, and get those all current appraisals on them, and there's a process. You wouldn't think it'd be that difficult, but talking to our attorney, there is a process for, surplus property, especially when there's a valuable order, I forget what the value is, but it has to go through a system, so. Anyway, I made contact with, the person to reevaluate those, and so.
Is there any big enough to put a motel on?
No, and they're all, yeah, I wish, yeah. There was, but yeah, I don't have any. So is there any questions about that? Like I said, if there's something specifically or you have concerns about that during the meeting, we can, if we need to vote on something, we need to wait till the regular meeting, but that's just kind of the direction.
I've heard from some of the rules, property next to the part down with narrow strips. So, and some interest to go ahead and pick those up, take them off city's hands instead of joining.
There are some fucking ones that are just like, yeah, a piece this wide along somebody's.
Exactly. So I think what you're doing is might be worthwhile contacting those homeowners, see if they have interest in that. And because those are used to pieces of their property, and let's get rid of them to other
Well,
people.
the one down there's got the people's fence on it.
Yeah, probably that one. They're probably using lizard yard already.
Yeah, they put it right now, so they're like to say you can't.
I can understand it when we talk before, when they're talking about some of the bigger lots, so if you want me to throw those on there, I can do that too.
So I'll ask a question about the proceeds from surplusing those pieces of property. Are those going to go straight to the general fund, or can we somehow put some guardrails around that to put it into like some sort of reserve fund, all proceeds?
Yeah, that's one, I'll look into that. We can, yeah, I don't know, we could. If we were selling, we could say that we're, if that number to go, and then what, it could be more than a sure that you have to do. You know, what the proceeds are, you can say you want to build up on a certain time, and, yeah.
And if that requires a resolution, we can.
That's part of the process you have to do it through, so I will make sure I read that question on that before we go forward with, yeah.
Thanks.
Anything else on that? Be that.
We don't have a BDAT representative this session.
Okay. Solid Waste Advisory Board.
That's next.
TCOM 911, nothing. Tenino School Board.
The Tenino School Board met yesterday. They met at Tenino Elementary School out there on Old 99. Just had my notes. Here we go. Okay. And you know, the good news is that the levy passed. Thank you, Tenino. It's been certified. I think it came in as 52.65, something like that. Yes. So we've got our. They have their 6-year funding for needed repairs, also funding. As we heard from those students who came, you know, athletics and arts and those extra specials the state does not fund yet make a difference sometimes between a kid's going to school and a kid wanting to go to school. So there's good news there. Something and being at TES instead of the district office, there's an opportunity for the principal and stand away to show off what they're doing and explain what they're doing and check the school board calendar. You know, there's one of each school year. There's one of these district meetings at our local schools, and it's a chance if you have children in schools to show up and see the presentation on what's actually going on, what your kids are learning and you know, what staff is doing to educate them. What we learned here at TES is they had a volunteer coming in, if I understood everything correctly, doing engineering classes. And TES is third, fourth, fifth grades. And weren't sure that would work, but they ended up doing bridge engineering, electrical engineering, building cars, studying friction. You know, at that age, with the enthusiasm they got was, you know, a great learning experience for kids. Hopefully, they'll continue to go into the middle school. And people, it's community volunteers like that make a difference. So if there's something you think you teach kids, you're willing to spend the time, contact the school district, step up. Anything you can do is welcome. Along with that, hearing about the schools efforts in the 4 C's they call it, community care, collaborative, and celebration, which is just how the school, their philosophy among kids and teaching them social skills and behavior skills and respect and all the rest of it. So I think the end of it is that school district, is doing a good job taking care of our kids. And I look forward to the next school district meeting at the end of summer.
Good, any questions? TRPC and TPB are coming up, so I'll be attending those. Commissioner's office, I think there's anything out of the commissioner's office that I'm aware of. Legislature?
They're working on the budget. Basically, it's not a law that has anything to do with us. They're not, it's a supplemental budget. It's just one to keep the government open between now and the 1st of July. And they're going to take some not a lot going on right now. A lot of people very, very upset about the millionaire tax. Very, very upset about it. I think the last count was 139,000 people commented one year. So how much of that's fake and how much is real, who knows? Yeah.
Tonight, the question came in, I got a note on one of the stone carvers that, this whole thing was, have you heard anything about that? Is that out there?
It's still out there, and I can't remember the number, I looked it up. They want to make Wilkinson sandstone, the state sandstone.
This is like every year, there's a field put in there, tonight, all of a sudden,
But tonight wants their name to be on there too. So, I think Wayne brought it up last year or the year before.
It's been on there several times, I think, yeah.
Every year they pick something to be a state something. You've got a state tree, you've got a state bud, you've got a state fossil, we've got a state, we've got a job, yeah.
I did that because I heard about it. I didn't know it was on my brain. They sent something to our state representative, to say, I don't know what the number is, but seems like so to me with everything going on, I understand the time. The state is going on. It's like, can we always do this? Can it be that tonight, Wilkinson sandstone, the state zone or something like that?
Sandstone, the state stone.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know what's gonna happen with it, but it's like, of all the things going on.
Well, Bill Labor called me the other day, gave me the number, and I looked it up, I read it, and it's just, and the person who is sponsoring it, I think it's Phil Fortunato, and he's a Republican, so. But I told him to call Andrew Barkus, call Peter Barno, because it's in the house, installed in the house, so if they don't want to tell him to keep it there.
Hopefully those two, there's the other two, so they'll, if they see it, hopefully they'll say something, but anyway, I just wanted to let you know, it's in there again, I hadn't heard that till I got that.
Usually takes 2 or 3, 4 years for something like that to pass. It just kind of floats around, and it's a feel good bill. Makes people in the area feel good.
Oregon Trail Days, you got anything for Oregon Trail Days?
Nothing to report on Oregon Trail Days, our next meeting is Monday.
Right. At what time is it?
5:30.
That was one of the things that George put on that list too, this Oregon Trail Days meeting.
And is this where is it going to be?
I haven't been told that it's different, so yeah.
That's all report. Jody, did you want to say anything since we got 15 minutes? Did you? Anything nice to say?
I think this. So. Moving right along, I have to kind of shut things down there right now because, we all hate to move. And especially if you've been in a place for quite a while. So we're moving. Every day I say, you go down, you gotta take something with you. So But I do have to say a couple of things that are food bank related by the city of Louisville. One, on the police department. We have been broken into twice. Now, granted, who breaks into a food bank? There is a special place for that food bank. But the response that we got from the Tenino police department was amazing. Absolutely amazing. We were able to feed both individuals. One did go to jail for a lot. So I do want to say that they are very responsive. But you know, again, your budget, along with everybody else's budget across the nation, is really bad for everyone. So it's understandable that they can't work, we can't put officers on 24/7. We can't, we understand that. But what we do have, we are very appreciative as to who we have. So I just want to say that. Secondly, on the benefits, everybody's budget across the board is just awful. And so, and we're seeing the residuals of that. So they're getting ready to ask 30-some positions from the librarians. Those 30-some people, if they don't have backup, if they don't have a second or third income coming into the house, we are going to see them in our life. We're already seeing a lot of new people. And it's not just outside of this community. People were asking me, well, you know, maybe we, you know, they're coming from other places. No, not today. Today we saw a lot of newbies coming out of Dakota, tonight. A lot of single, one household, two household incomes that are really struggling. So with that said, everybody is in the same boat. It's not just tonight. It's across the board. Some of these people have been working for quite some time in other areas of the state, and now they're not working. They don't have a job, so they need it. And some of these people, they, you know, they're living paycheck to paycheck. And you only have to miss one or two, and you can't feed your family. So, with that said, we're doing well. Just keep on plugging along, okay? So, you guys are not all in the same boat. You're not. Everybody else is in there with you. Because our budget is set. Okay?
Okay, we got 10 minutes and we'll start the regular meeting. Hopefully it'll be fairly quick.
Yeah. Yeah, the house at 6 a.m. So.
You want to get over?
Yeah.
So dark. It's so dark.
I saw that. You need so many phone calls I get between 7 and 8 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, that's what I say, because we're there. And we can now it's 7 to 7. On my way to work, finally I can hear the traffic in the background. You're talking on the it's gonna be so against They'll never be low on it, they will start it. Somebody said to me, are you gonna watch the president tonight? And I said, I can just watch that. No one.
I'll call him, just have him do your show. Because that would be just until I get all the other meetings.
That, and I.
Same thing.
Well, I pass it around. I should. I see prices can change from what it was maybe.
You look at the way it goes.
Just do that.
That's exactly what they're basically, yeah, and we can negotiate. He said, we can sell it those guys. Yeah, so then we can negotiate while they're saving money and things.
So, we get to see things and getting that thing done. Because.
As soon as that passes, I did kind of share. She said, I need to know things that it's, I think it's not to show that it's on when it passes, so. It's probably got. Could be. That's because it's 6 months from the year after but she said, hey, she said, so I'm hoping we can do that one. I can see something I can't reach today.
I think that would be an easier solution.
I do it again. I mean,
It's the national policing.
Oh.
I'm no, that's what, and that's what Seth said. So what he would like to do is we come up with a few laws that will make those decisions, but you need to get that done for next. That's just.
I don't know.
did you hear the quotes?
So here's the solution, which caused a little bit of a ripple in my people. But I told them that 2010, I'm just looking at it. Forget it, because it's been so long. They can't find it, and besides that, it's hilarious that
So sometime later on down.
the thing is, there is no paperwork. So I would just. It's been, in most of the cases, we were the ground.
So many years. So we.
Anything other than somebody else created it. And between we did. People. Somebody said, well, when is too much. And so when we started our, she says, well, maybe we'll have to cut it down to 2 days.
like you do it on the
I said, yeah, we can't do it that way. So, Steve just was like,
Also, we next week, since he's not gonna be back.
yeah, well, yeah. I know. Well, you need four, so the petrol. You need to cut the I'm not surprised. So if we can do it that way.
So you're saying. The price for both of them is just forward and.
Yeah, so right now, what is it, 300? 300.
I think they're both kind of similar price.
One was 105, and the other was two something, but it's a, $300. 300 is. So like. 3,300, no, 33,000.
I'll look at that one if that's what it means.
And then-
Just plain.
And then you just work it that way, and then work back off everything that you done.
And you like you said, process it, because there's anything, if there's anything, application of that too.
Here's the thing, is the people that you know all of this.
It's just not, like, there's a back.
Literally, and I still done all of them, they have flipped the bags with people. Yeah. My counters are right on the house and give her some. Yeah, yeah, okay, right. To make sure that they're leaving us otherwise. Yeah.
Oh my God, she got new shoes.
So I want to say their shoes for wearing now, and then they're constantly getting on that.
I told you to buy a pair of shoes, not a pair of sandals. My boy too.
It's a great time. You can do it.
2 more minutes.
Yeah.
It's his own.
No, I have hers. I thought you fiddled with this thing before. Well, this one, I didn't know this one was sitting in here. Oh. Maybe I can figure out. That's nope.
But if I could see it.
Our
Okay, it is 7:30. Call to order the regular meeting of the Tenino City Council for Tuesday, February 24th, 2026. I think the vice president will start.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I knew they were breaking the song with that. I mean, you too.
Okay, agenda approval. You have an agenda before you.
Hello.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? The motion passes. Approval of minutes.
I move to approve the minutes.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from February 10th, 2026. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Consent calendar for February 11th through February 24th, 2026, consisting of payroll EFTs in the amount of $38,263.39 and claims checks 33925 through 33945 and EFTs in the amount of $84,720.84 for a total of $122,984.23 and no liquor and cannabis.
I move to approve the consent calendar as presented.
So I second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent calendar for February 11th, 2026 and February 24th, 2026. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Public comments. Comments, come on.
So I guess we're elder of the Ironwood tea at 226 Avenue West. And I don't want any Snickers or any foods on it, but the person that walks the town was the city, sorry, John, the city of Lot. Came into my store the other day, extremely upset. And she wanted something done about the sidewalks in front of my store. And we've all gone through this years ago about me complaining about the sidewalks because there were big potholes in the sidewalk. And the city finally came in and cemented it. Different, not so good word, get it. And it worked, but those are becoming rough again. But what she was complaining about was where the sidewalk dips, and there's an area that, a couple areas that when you walk through and it's raining, if it's wet, it's deep. And she said she slipped and she came in the store and bless her heart, she was real sweet, but she was upset. And just carried on and on about something needs to be done to the sidewalk. I said, well, you understand the city has no money now and there's nothing going to be done about the sidewalk. And she says, I want you to go to the council meeting and I want you to talk about it. So I promised I would. So here I am. But the more I think about it, so this is putting a bud in your ear that maybe there's something you can apply for to get a grant or something to do just particular areas, sidewalks that are so bad in stores. So, to the lovely lady that came in, I did, thank you.
Thank you. No old business, new business, keep Washington working. I think we'll put that on hold until we get more information, right?
Yeah, that's Ray can't say anything about it.
I don't know. Do you know anything?
The only thing I can say about it is that I know that the chief did get the information and it was vetted by the attorney general's office. I do believe it is the same policy that every police department across the state is being, that is utilizing for the same grant purpose. So it did come, from the Attorney General's office, it was amended there. That's about all I can share that I know of regarding that.
And I'm thinking, like you said, I think this is what everybody's been given the same policy to follow. I guess the only thing we could do, if the council wants it, we can send it to our attorney for a review if you want to before.
Whatever, fine. If the Attorney General is.
You think, yeah.
Why should you spend money for that?
Yeah.
So this is just for discussion, actually. I think we can just, the police department can just adopt this as part of their policies, I believe. So we don't even have to pass it. If there's any questions.
Well, we have to run the whole policy of the police department for their, standard operating procedure.
Well, then we have to pass that standard operating procedure plan when it's in for them.
No, the full policy is an entity under the police department itself.
Okay.
So maybe I can clarify this. Did we have anything in our policy book about keep watching and working prior to this?
No, those 6 pages were added to our list.
This was a new, this was something that.
Keep watching and working was passed in 2019. The legislation gave the Attorney General 12 months to adopt it. There were 12 months to come up with model.
It's last year they were believed.
No, it's been the model policy that departments were supposed to go in and adopt it once the AG put out the policy.
I don't think a lot of places have, because I know a lot of them are working on these, but yeah. It's,
Adam, I can't speak to the fact of whether it was inside the full policy and like the verbiage or the usage was changed to modify to accommodate.
Yeah.
The keep watch working, I don't know, because I'm not part of the electrical policy and the infrastructure of it. So.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask the chief anyway. It was like.
The most recent is came from the Attorney General, he did work with them, and so that's what I can share.
Thank you.
but please still, if you have any questions, you can let us know. But otherwise, it's just going to be adopted by the police department internal policies.
Vote on that. Yeah, we did that document, it references the police chief basically as the authority. If our police chief is not available, we have a policy in that document to say mayor or sheriff or who the rank and file, if they're in an immigration situation, who they could turn to if the police is not available for your vacation or whatever.
I don't have a response to that. I'm not eligible enough to do this all.
We can find out if there's a reason.
So the only areas I can add, we do have a sergeant, and then we have patrol officers. So if we don't have a police chief that is available to do sickness or vacation or other, we do have sergeants. Named as an officer in charge while the chief is on.
And if we need that, in that document, it's all about taking the
I think it was.
patrol officers out of decision making if there's an issue with federal immigration and kicking it upstairs. So it's not here to deal with this question.
I believe that it's the mayor. Seems to me that it was when we didn't have a police chief. When all we had was that young girl that was our only police officer. Before we hired,
Yes,
before Bob's
I
ran,
would concur with that, that if there is no police chief,
and the mayor is
the mayor
is
is.
the one that the buck stops with him.
Yep.
But perhaps just putting a note there in the lexical to clarify that position. To crossing T's and dotting I's.
Anything else on that one? The resolution, we're just going to bring that back with some further action later. Is that I heard? The Voyager for the fuel cards. This requires action, I believe. So this is the one we talked about where the bill comes due between our meetings. So we want to authorize up to 2,500 to be paid. We'll include those in the monthly reports when we come to our next meeting, so you know what happened there.
I make a motion that we, approve the process check for no more than $2,500.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the payment process, outside our normal for the Voyager card due to basically timelines that don't meet our schedule. Is there any discussion?
Will that payment, be included in our folder here or notification or how is it?
I think you said three of them would have to come in, three members would have to come in and sign the voucher, right? Between now and the 10th.
No, but it will show on your register at the next meeting. Yes, but it will be paid out in.
You will have
May
to separate.
before that.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting we do a special thing, but again, I support this, just one announcement as well on our.
Yeah, it'll be on the next checklist.
Is it just this one time? Yeah, falling in the wrong category or the wrong time frame?
At this time, that I'm aware, yes. It could happen again during the year, but.
Oh, okay. Just
Well, March is the same calendar, so.
So it may happen
May happen
again.
in March.
So it's measured just for this one-time event or what should you
They
keep it?
said,
Yes, it is one time because it's outside the normal process. If it happens again in March, we'll have to ask for it again.
Would be more. Like, would you be more efficient to just as a policy, this vendor, because of this reason, and just let you handle it, and notify us, have a good time.
no, I don't think so.
Honestly, I'm not comfortable with that, and I don't like blanket policies for, going by procedure, or, not following procedures, so.
I understand.
I think that we should do this on a case by case basis.
Very good. Accept that.
Thanks.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion passes. The last one is the annual subscription for the Waterworth update to our water and sewer study.
So,
It's been moved and seconded to approve the subscription service to Waterworth as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Just so everybody's real clear, that comes out of our water sewer fund, that's not coming out of our general fund. No resolution ordinances, public comment too, anybody else want to comment before the meeting's over? Okay, any announcements?
yes, just that the splash badge fundraiser has been moved to May 16th, not the 30th. It's going to be at the Kodiak Group. Not at the,
I did, I forgot one thing in my mayor's report, I'll just give a quick one here. One of the things that the legislature passed, I believe in 23, was this, changes in the ADU laws, which are accessory dwelling units. There's some significant changes, like any law, if it has a home on it, can have 2 ADUs, there's a bunch of different things that are part of that. When we did our comprehensive plan update, that was required us to put that in there. But since our plan, our update is taking a little bit longer than, went over a little bit of the timeline. What I got anyway was we were supposed to have a comp plan done in June, at the end of June. You have 6 months after that to implement it. So if our comp plan still hasn't been certified by January 1st, we have to follow the state rules on ADUs, even though we haven't adopted that. So
it's a great about, that's my question.
we can still update it when we get it updated. We can change the rules, but we have to meet the minimum state. What I understand, right? And I've asked our planners about this to verify. I think we're required to meet those standards. If somebody came in and said, "Hey, I want to build an ADU," I believe we'll have to meet those state.
Isn't there a size, lot size minimum? I deal with this at work, and because the lots where the community I'm working for, are smaller, they don't have to approve everything.
Yeah.
There's a certain minimum size that it has to meet before you can put a second ADU.
There is something about lot sizes, but there's several. I just wanted to make you aware, if somebody comes in and applies to one, I think we'll have to follow the state rules.
Yeah.
Whatever those are, so. In the meantime, until we get our comp plan actually approved and make decisions on, there's things like the lot size that we can have some insights of the units. So we can change those. We can't be more strict than the state law, but we can be flexible.
So our building official should be up on that on the next question.
Well, I think it's kind of, I think it kind of caught us off guard with those requirements, so. That's why I'm asking our planner to make sure that I won't get in trouble. There can be lawsuits if you don't follow the, so I just want to make sure we're doing everything the right way. Okay, anything else? Meeting's adjourned.
Quick than I am. I just have one quick little bit of information regarding our budget. As we have not yet got that in place, and the year is marching along, and just some statistics for everybody put it in mind, okay? Our goal at the budget committee is to have our 25% cut to our expense for the various reasons of preparing next year, contingency, and start to get all those reasons. And that's what we've been working with, and that's what we've given our department heads, in City Hall, in Public Works, and in the Police Department, and budget committee is looking for your 25% cuts, right? But that's if we adopted this in January, okay? Because we did not adopt it in January, 25%. If we adopted in February, we have 11 months to do those $500,000 cuts. And that actually comes up to 27% cuts to do that. If we don't get this done by the end of March, then it actually goes to 29% that we need yes. So, I know we asked these departments for 25%, but if we haven't got it done yet, I recommend we go back, so you go back to the department and say, no, it's going to be 30%. And that's only if we can get this done in the next month. If we push off doing this budget so that we have $500,000 savings for all these things that the city needs, in April it goes to 33%. Okay, in May it goes to 37%. If we don't have it done by June, these three departments are going to have to do 50% cuts for us to save $500,000. Okay. Now, we've got the measure from Councilmember Bodak about having the police department exempt from having to do any cuts whatsoever. So to get that $500,000, that means their share of that 25% has to split between the public works and the headquarters. So, right now, if we get it done by the end of March, this coming month, then they're going to have to do 45% cuts. If you pass this measure that the Bodak is presenting to us. If we wait until June, 75% cuts across the city, except for the police
I wonder
department.
how other cities are doing it. Every city in the state of Washington is in the same boat that we are. So I wonder how other ones are taking care of this. Are they cutting other police department? Are they cutting public works? Are they cutting the city administration? How are they doing it?
I don't know,
Oh,
but I can say that we are not in the same position as anybody else, because
yeah,
we are bankrupt. Our general fund, we ended the year $18,000, we've already spent over $200,000 to this point. And the only reason we were able to make our bills in January and February is because the mayor asked for $300,000 from one of our intercounty transfers. We're not running on revenue from this year. We're borrowing money to get this far forward. Okay. So we are not the same boat as other cities. We have no savings, we have no contingency account, we don't even have revenue this year. And I look at this and I'm just
never mind.
I'm just really concerned.
Excuse me, Jeff. You say again, they.
Excuse me, this is a council meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry. You can comment on, comment.
Well, and so I guess the point of this, in bringing this up now, is that time is of the essence, because it's a geometric progression. If we don't deal with this and get those cuts done sooner rather than later, and my request, personal, citizen council, just my opinion, is that we need to have this town meeting that we're talking about so that our citizens can ask the questions. We can.
Great. I think it's a wonderful idea.
So, consider putting our notice, our 10-day notice and the records of newspapers of record, the Tenino Independent, is we have got to get this done. It does not get better by putting this off. We've got to nail this down and make decisions. If we're going to have the police department increase funding for the current levels, what is Tenino willing to give up? All the big works.
Let's get the public here. That's a wonderful idea.
Exactly. So thank you. Let's do this. Let's do this.
Last time we did it on a Saturday morning, so we'll try to get a Saturday morning. We did it at the school district, so we'll get something together for that.
Great.
Okay.
I'm just so alarmed at the potential here for us to the city to fail. We did it to be one. So,
Yeah, too.
Can I ask a question based on that? Have we gotten any feedback from city staff yet on that, on any requests?
Public Works has looked at it, and I'll let Nancy, do you want to?
Yeah, we've received feedback from Public Works and our city staff is working on cuts for administration, although we did actually make cuts before this year started. When Robert retired, we only replaced her part-time. But the person who actually doesn't receive the benefits that other city staff receive due to her limited hours, and she doesn't want to participate in medical or retirement. So probably cost us 1/4 or 1/3 what Rhonda did when she retired, because Rhonda was here so long, she was at the top of her range. So Evan did make cuts before this came out. I'm not sure that there are more cuts we can make in terms of salary for admin. I think Maria has done some work on the police department budget. We have some work on the police department budget. There's something that we are just not going to participate in zero. We piggyback onto the county for training. Our training budget is zero. We're not expending anything. We're not sending anybody anywhere. We're doing a lot of in-house or doing training. We piggyback onto the county that train them, which bolsters that relationship with them. So,
Okay. How much is the grant for 2015? How much is the grant, the safety grant that we're applying for the police department?
I believe it's up to $200,000. There's been a lot of conversation about what that could potentially pay for, and that could be for more than one officer. My understanding is that it is still only 75% of step one. And we could hire an officer who is more experienced, but the grant would still only pay for 75% of step one.
Okay.
The 25% on our half, our part.
Yes, if we hired it at step one, which would be entry level, which we're not hiring an entry level, because then we have to send them to the academy for 4.5 months and pay their salary, pay their benefits, and we don't get anything out of it, because they're paid.
So, but we have 3 officers now.
We do have
Is there anything else that money is going to be able to be used for?
There is a concept of it being for a school resource officer. That program is already established in the school district, but we could train a second. It could be for the training and then the outfitting and a second school resource officer. And we shuffle the schedule around so that we have not served.
Are there any other grants out there that can be, that we can apply for?
The NCHIP grant is out there. I'm not too terribly familiar with it, but that could potentially pay for an admin. record keeping,
Because I could potentially pay your wages for the police department. I think those are ways that we need to look, things we need to look at in order to,
so we'll look at this
keep the
whole,
safety of tonight.
this whole tribal grant, Chehalis tribal has a grant as well that they put out, and they've been, very gracious, so usually very gracious for their grants, especially for the public service.
Right.
And so those, I used to do this quality grant all the time, I changed the timeline on, so we missed it last year. So, about a month of this year already, so.
Yeah.
And we didn't budget for any of those grants, so if we get them, that would be money that was not for. And our public safety tax is still coming in.
The one we have already approved.
Yes.
We can't do the other one, I believe, until after we get all the pieces in order. Okay, anything else? Thank you.
With the fourth place, state or 120 pounds, 1B2B1A. That was last weekend in the back of us.
You kept saying them, they, and you.
She's the only medalist out of, I think, 14 local.
I mean, as if.
I saw that someplace, I didn't see that on Facebook, so.
And I wanted to get a picture of all the nice messengers.
Them, they, and who.
Leah was
I
happy.
mean, this.
Yes.
I mean,
She's going to especially love it.
talking about the 25% cut.
Yes.
We don't have information. My point is that.
Find a way to supply.
Thank you for coming, you guys.
From, proposals from the various parties that help.
And if it's dead, I can't get it, it won't, I mean, it'll power on, but it won't, doesn't register anything. There's a, it's sitting over there, it's been there for a couple of years.
Supposed to be taken care of, so. You're paying a lot of money.
Josh's friend is gonna come work.
I heard that.
And I might have to have you or Jessica start with it because I have, training with the SAO. That lasted until 11. But he wanted to.
I don't want to ask if there's.
It's not happening.
No, that's fine. I can come up with him and walk him through everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. So I figure out putting in my